And we're back. Actually, we're not. OBS is glitching out right at the start. That's not a good sign. Let's see. We're fine. And while this loads, I will send out the chat signal. Okay. Still sending out the chat signal. My boys on Instagram. I have 4 brothers. 3 older and 1 younger. For those wondering. And many friends. Talk about a support system. Hope everyone is doing good. I have utilized my talents this week. I made a whole video game, beginning, middle, end. I showed how to make the features that I implemented in it. I fleshed out the features, got everything working, debugged it myself, coded it, designed the systems, designed the story. Oh, god damn. That was fun. Let me just plug my controller in. Seems like it's not. No. My brand. No, my controller just got rolled over by my goddamn chair. That's not good. Oh, alright, we're working. Alright, let's get right into it, shall we? We're almost done with the game. We beat the game on one of the characters, and that gave me enough of an excuse to take a break. After a time, a new Night Lord came to be. The Round Table Hold, spared from annihilation, would be formed anew, in preparation for a new night. But would it be enough to free the priestess, he would never know. The Night Lord lumbered on, indifferent to whether or not the twin horses would ever ride again. So, let's get to it. Switch characters. We are Birdman now. We did it on the Wilder. It's the character I know best. Let's go! What's up, Saint Banshee? How you guys doing? We're getting right into it. I fucking love Elden Ring. I love Nightreign. I love the story. Especially having made a game this week for a game dev, a game jam. Like, I only had 4 days to make a video game from scratch. It makes me appreciate games like this way more, dude. Alright, this is a memory of the new flock, of a lesson learned at the Round Table Hold. Sorry. Just put it on. I fixed it up for you, friend. The man known as the Raider was bold and boisterous. I knew it would be perfect for a fine knight of your stature. He was also a terrible meddler, and willful in his way. Having had the helm foisted upon him, the guardian instinctively batted it away. He knew the Raider had meant no harm, but he had simply laid down his helm long ago. Ever since the day he lost the flock he failed to protect. So now we're going right into the story. We're going to beat the game, hopefully. I mean, it's going to take a couple of days, most likely. It really is dependent on the teams we get.
I seem to have done you wrong. I'm sorry, brother.
I love that everybody in this game has a strength or a talent, right? Like, this person knows how to paint. And maybe they're not the person that paints, like, all of the paintings in Round Table Hold. But clearly, it is important to the story that the character knows how to create illustrations.
I seem to have done you wrong. I'm sorry, brother.
New dialogue. Okay.
I don't know the... I seem to...
Okay, so he's sad that he upset you. And we gotta talk to the puppet man.
Good champion.
We're on our way to the boss now. After we talk to these NPCs, we're gonna go right into the boss. I lost my flock.
You speak of the chivalric band to which...
Birdman Jones be schmoovin'. Yeah, dude. Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. Oh, let me pull up. Our wings were clipped. We couldn't fly. Let me pull up Harvey Birdman.
Tragic tale indeed. And your fall,
Harvey Birdman.
though it boggles the mind,
Attorney at law. Oh, this is such a funny fucking show.
indeed. What could have
It's so funny.
thing?
It's kind of like Space Ghost Coast to Coast, where it's just satirical, dry humor. It's because of the curse.
The scarring. This is the work of an accursed...
Even humor is a skill. It turns out, scientifically, that if you can respond with satire quickly in a situation, that means you have a healthy brain. So if you can make a joke that upsets people, you're actually smart. Harvey Birdman is great. Yeah, dude. Harvey Birdman is awesome. Okay, so I'm not quite there yet. We need like one more interaction. Then we go fight the boss.
I once read a story in a very old tome about a realm
Oh yeah, I haven't continued
where fighting erupted.
my reading of the Silmarillion.
Winged men. They were robbed of these wings by an accursed weapon known as an Ictaris.
Ictaris.
Folk were killed while their kingdom's fate hung in the balance. Or so the story goes. I never imagined I would meet a living...
But the Silmarillion is almost exactly spot on.
To think the legends were true.
Here, I'll pull up the characters again so we can continue the story. I found the answers to all of Elden Ring's story. And it's not a hypothetical. It's not a maybe. It lines up so well that me and my mods were laughing hysterically. We were like, wow, this is just spot the fuck on.
The accursed weapon
So I'll pull it up right now
is chronicled
while this guy
in
talks.
the tome. But I'm afraid there are no other clues. The tome was part of a 3-volume collection, and 2 of the set are missing. If I could have read
Oh,
I
is that
have been able to help you.
is that saying that it isn't two pieces of a story to make it whole, but three pieces? And Nightreign is part two out of a three-piece set. Is that what that is? Anyway, allow me to introduce you to the Aratar from Lord of the Rings. They're the Valar, right? Here, let me explain it in Elden Ring terms. The Valar are the Ainur, or some of the Ainur, right? Some of these spirits in space, right, before the world was fully formed, these are the outer gods. The Ainur equivalent in Elden Ring are the outer gods, okay? Now, why does that matter? Well, not all outer gods manifested, not all of the Ainur became Valar, right? And of the strongest Valar, there were 8. Okay? There were 8 Valar that were the strongest. Now let me show you the 8 playable characters and how well they align with these. Are you ready? You have Ulmo, Lord of the Water. Look at the helmet. It's like a visual tie. Lord of the Water who sent to teach the... He sent his minion to teach the elves how to use boats. Big brain mode activated. Yeah, I've been in game design mode for like a week, so when I found this before I jumped into it, I was like, oh, I'm right. And I was cracking up at how accurate it is. Anyway, he is the boatman, right? Ulmo loves both elves and men and never abandoned them, not even when they lay under the wrath of the Valar. So even the Valar were sometimes mad at men and elves, right? But Ulmo was indifferent. He separated himself from the Valar, right? The Aratar, the 8 people, and then was typically called to them in times of need and unity, which is exactly what the tutorial... If you beat the tutorial in Nightreign, that's how Wilder shows up here. He is called through the storm, he sits on the chair after beating the tutorial boss and awakens in Round Table Hold. So he is called here. Everything aligns with Ulmo, and it gets even more eerily lined up. So, Manwe is the man bird. He is the dude that has to do with the eagles and in the creation of the eagle, the super smart giant eagles in Lord of the Rings, right? He's wind, he is birds, and him and Ulmo were cool with each other, friends, because of where the water turns into mist in the air, where like the lands meet, or where the water meets air, they would hang out and talk to each other because they were friends. So, Birdman, but here, it gets even more so. Birdman, his story is tied to Star Lady, right? The recluse. And of course, who is Manwe's wife? Varda. The Star Lady, the Queen of the Stars. Right? As lovely as the snow in lights gleaming, right? She is the Star Maiden, right? Okay. Now, who are the other Aratar? Let's go down the list real quick. You have Manwe, Varda, Ulmo. We got those 3, right? That is Birdman, Recluse, Ulmo. And then you have Yavanna, the maiden who made the golden tree and the silver tree, which introduced time into Middle-earth. So this is the lady of trees and time. That's the Duchess. She is the priestess in secret of the Golden Order's Round Table Hold. She gets restaged. Her entire thing is chronomancy. She is time. Raider, the man who makes stone, is Aule, the guy who forged the dwarves out of stone because he was cool with Iluvatar, who's like the one before all in Elden Ring. So he's stone crafter. He made the dwarves from stone, and he's all about his wrath is his symbol because he was going to smash the dwarves out of like sadness and wrath. He was like, okay, Iluvatar didn't want me to do this, so I'm going to break you. And then Iluvatar's like, look at how they cower away from you. They actually, I gave them mortal existence now. They have their own fucking minds. You don't need to smash them. And Aule is like, oh, thank God. Okay, cool. let's just put them to sleep. And then, or Iluvatar says they shouldn't walk around before mortal man, so we got to put them in an underground tomb, and they'll wake up when the elves and the humans wake up. So Aule is the forger of stone, totem stela, wedged into the earth to summon a giant tombstone. So in the catacombs where he buried them, tombstone, forging stone, Aule is the raider. Next up, Mandos is the halls of the dead, pretty much the unspeaking, right? He doesn't need to communicate. He summons the spirits, right? And the halls of Mandos are where people are buried, right? Which is the Crucible Society, if you go watch my whole base playthrough. The whole thing is about dying honorably and evoking the spirits, like how he evokes people in his armor and is tied to the Crucible Society. He is Mandos, alright? Now, that leaves one guy. Where is it? Orome. There's one guy left who's known as the Huntsman of the Valar. One guy left. Iron Eye, the Huntsman. That is it. So now there are 2 Eritar left, right? Let's get them up. There's Nienna and... Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Mandos is the Executor. Aule is the Raider. This is Iron Eye. And then Nienna is related to the Halls of the Dead in that she can summon spirits older than the world, right? That is Nienna. So, but the thing is, they describe her as alone. She dwells alone. She is a recluse. So this is where these 2 characters could be either one. She could be Nienna, or she could be Nienna, just because of that. But her power is about summoning spirits. So she's the Star Lady. She's the one who summons spirits. I was right the whole time. Those are the 8 Eritar and the strongest of the Valar. I was running around. I mean, I've been reading the Silmarillion. I'm on chapter 6 right now. But after that obvious comparison, I was like, oh shit. I don't even know what the fuck. I don't even know where to go from here. Aside from read the Silmarillion, which is the story they clearly based it off of, to compare and contrast what they may have changed through inspirations of other stories. Game Design Brain. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, voice them.
And I too would be most gladdened if you were to find them.
There we go. And now... I mean, we can try to beat the Augur, but I doubt we'll actually get it. Straight into the boss after the lore explanation. You kind of need the menu to show exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, big brain mode activated. I had to use the one brain cell that I have. But yeah. I happened to be right through analyzing the story and comparing and contrasting and criticizing. Feels good. It does feel good. When it lines up so specifically with, like, all of the character stories I've listed line up with the people in this game as well, in terms of their theme, right? The Wilder has a boat on his coat. He's the boatman. You can't take the water away from the Wilder because he is wearing a sea vessel, right? So he is tied to the oceans. It's very fucking obvious when you point him out like that. Oh god, I love it. So it feels good. Programming is known as logic gates, so of course using logic happens to be my strong suit. It's my job. It's my job. So, I mean, I feel bad arguing with people online whose job it is to just talk right? But I mean, as someone who talks about art and explains that people express themselves in these mediums, I'm like, you don't need to fucking waste your time listening to people who talk all day, if unless they actually have a talent that they're trying to teach you. I played so much video games that now game design is my talent, but that was my goal the whole time ever since I was a kid. So I've been practicing logic gates and systems design since I was a child. Not everyone is like that. That's just my strong suit. I don't always try to get everyone to get into systems. I understand that there is a beauty in like illustrations or music or different senses, maybe food, who knows, right? Whatever your reason for the art that you pursue, I commend you. I just happen to be argumentative and I need logic. Cold, hard logic. That's all I need. So I guess that's kind of why it upsets those people that I argue with online, because they eventually gets to a point where they have an emotional investment in things, and then they get upset, and they try to argue an emotional capacity, and I'm like, that is just you being emotional. You actually should probably have a deeper respect for life on both sides, and then people are like, no, I don't respect life on both sides. And then they generalize as to explain why they don't respect life. And I'm like, well, you're not describing life, you're generalizing, right? So kind of easy to talk circles around those people because their emotional investment blinds them, right? It is a big problem, but it's the story of Elden Ring, right? Not to get too meta, but the whole point is that the Golden Order isn't allowed to criticize the Golden Order, otherwise they have their eyes gouged out, right? Or a big weight placed on their neck. You're not allowed to think about things critically in the game. That is literally the story. Which is what I think is beautiful about the game, is that it's tying real life parallels without criticizing directly, right? It's like anyone who does this is at fault. You don't need to say one side or the other is at fault, because all it takes is the decisions, right, of someone to be bad, and then they fall into that way of thinking. So the Golden Order's way of thinking of, you can't criticize me and I'm always right, and if you criticize me, you are a bad person morally, because I want to have the moral high ground. So if you have the moral high ground, it makes you a bad person, right? That's kind of how they argue. It's like, well, I'm not just arguing about morality. I'm saying morality should be taken into consideration while we talk about facts, right? It's like facts don't care about your opinion, so that you should care about people's feelings, because that's what's going to blind them to actually listening to the facts. You shouldn't say, facts don't care about your feelings, so I don't care about your feelings. You should say, facts don't care about your feelings, so let me explain to you why your feelings are blinding you in this sense. Because sometimes that facts don't care about your feelings mentality is used as a way to shield people, right, whose feelings are hurt about the truth, ironically. They're like, facts don't care about your feelings, so I don't care what you're saying because it hurts my feelings, right? Like, they don't really say it out loud, but that is the big problem. And again, that is the Golden Order's thing. And then you have people who talk themselves into legal trouble because they're lying about people, right? If one person says something and then you just assume that they're lying and you tell everyone they're lying when you can't prove it, that's defamation, right? Even if they are lying, you can't just go around saying everyone's lying, right? You have to prove that they're lying. Or just go like we've done with the Golden Order. These are the emotional ties to this logical thinking, which is actually what's preventing them from thinking logically. They ironically will say things like, don't play towards emotion, I'm talking about logic. And then when you excuse their emotional response, they're like, how could you be so callous? How could you be so cruel? How could you not care about people? And I'm like, no, actually, I do care about people. I'm trying to criticize you because you're ignoring the nuance and having people endangered because of political views or opinions, right? It's again an Ouroboros tale. They're trying to say one thing while doing another. It's very bad. Political commentators do this all the time. Whataboutisms is what it's called. They're like, well, how could you do this? There's a genocide going on, right? And it's like, well, we're talking about this because of the genocide, right? It's like, that's all you need to say. Well, we're talking about this because it pertains to it. And then their mind might microwave because they're going to try and do mental gymnastics to explain how you caring isn't you caring, or you're a liar for caring the way that you do care. How do I care? It's like you're telling me how I care about people? That's insane. So, open to criticism, yes, but telling someone their emotional response is the dumbest shit you can do. So, we get back into it. Welcome back, everybody. The game criticizes people who think like this because it's an easy thing to criticize. And when you make it into an artwork, it's obvious they're wrong and they have an existential crisis. Maybe they'll criticize the artwork itself. Say it's bad or people are tired of talking about it. It is a thing. It's a form of cowardice, right? You're shying away from the conversation because you're a fucking coward. That's my criticism. You can be a coward, though. I don't need you to be brave for me to talk about it, but people will pretend to be brave when they're not. I guess maybe it's people will want to seem brave. I'll tell you I'm scared. I don't give a fuck. I'm scared of these people having a greater influence than they already do, telling people to sow doubt and hate when really they need to have healthy skepticism and acceptance, right? Because even if they're lying to you, you can still disprove their argument, right? Because what you're stating is factual, right? That's the big thing. You don't need to lie about facts. You don't need to warp facts to favor your opinion, because then you're no better than the people you're criticizing. It doesn't matter if your cause is good. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's the whole theme of this game. If you cause a genocide because you want peace, you're ultimately causing a genocide, and you're part of the problem. On any side. Even if you were oppressed and now become the oppressor, right? That's you're going to endlessly continue the cycle of hatred if your stance comes from dehumanizing the other side or generalizing the other side. Go on, don't worry. I'm on my way. And people have asked me which side I'm on, and I always have to reiterate, taking sides is part of the fucking problem, you idiot. And they're like, well, one side is clearly in the wrong. And it's like, yeah, you can criticize the side that's in the wrong without taking a side. What the fuck? Because then, again, with picking favorites and favoritism and sides, what happens when the side you side with is in the wrong, right? Then if your whole thing is I can't be wrong, then you're going to have to lie and make excuses, right? It's dumb. There's so many layers as to why it's wrong. You should not become a flag. That is it. You should have individual thinking and criticism. Oh, shit. And if anyone is telling you that having free thought or criticisms of things is a bad thing, they are complicit in an oppressive regime or part of the oppressive regime, right? The rich that don't want you to gain money of wealth, right? It doesn't matter if they're actually wealthy. It is, I don't want you to know because knowing might turn you against me, right? Improved sorceries. Either one is the same. Improved charge attacks, successive attacks. I think I'm getting rid of that. I can't believe I have to state in the year 2025, believe in people because they have brains, and if you don't, you are underestimating people, and obviously they're going to fucking utilize that and point out the flaws in your argument. Even if they respect themselves enough to not snoop down to your level or stoop down to your level, right? You can be political, right? Like these games, without demonizing real people. That is the beauty of video games, but also just artwork in general. Books, movies, all of these things get censored because they actually have commentary aligned with them. And when you analyze and deeply think about these stories, they point out something that's been a running theme throughout history. And it's something that artists laugh at while politicians are trying to utilize, right? They're like, there's no way that anyone sees what we're doing. And then it crash cuts to the artist going, these guys are fucking idiots for doing this. And that's why you have censorship like we do right now in video gaming, where it's like, we can't possibly criticize anything because we'll feel a political repercussion. Damn it. I wasn't going to make it in time. Again, I don't want to get too conspiratorial, but it's what's happening right now with itch.io and Steam, right? And then again, with the powers in the people, the banks made it so that people couldn't buy certain things on itch and Steam, and then everyone hated it so much that they had to pretty much say, it wasn't us. It's like they had to shirk ownership because, well, clearly they're at fault when you analyze the situation. You mean to tell me Steam and itch.io both at the same time, independently from each other, decided to do the exact same censorship? It's like, no, odds are, and then both of them blamed it on payment processors. Odds are it was the payment processors. So it's easier for them to just go, it wasn't us, later on after everyone's not angry. Actually, it was us. We were just mistaken. But people with a fucking brain can see those kinds of things and go, oh, it is a censorship, right? That's why, like, I wasn't going to think anything of it until it started censoring games that didn't need to be censored. They were scared of how the community was responding to the artwork of a game. So they censored a game, which I bought to make sure I wasn't crazy. And it's exactly as I thought. The censorship should have been of the community and moderation, not the artwork. The artwork is a criticism of the exact thing. The artwork agrees with them. The artwork thinks you shouldn't objectify women. But in doing so, it made it in the game, the women are literally objects. That is the point of the story, right? That is the comparison. So they missed the entire plot of the game. Right? And then again, it's when you have the wrath of entire civilization on your side because you've censored art, everyone starts to go, it wasn't me. right? It wasn't me that did that. I didn't do it. It was these people. Why am I not sprinting? What the fuck? Why can't I sprint? Hello? I can't attack? What's going on? What? Wait, what the fuck? I'm pressing attack. I can't use any items. Oh my god, I can only eat things off the ground. Oh my god, my entire controller got disconnected. Okay, that fixed it. What the fuck? Holy shit. I love being an American for that reason. I think America, because I can criticize all of the problems with America and say America fucking sucks. It's like most people say they're proud to be an American because they side with the weird racist shit. I'm proud to be an American so that I can state openly that the racist shit is fucking stupid. Not everyone has that luxury, right? There are journalists in the world afraid to speak their minds because they die if they do. And they say what I'm saying. They just say the normal, reasonable thing, but oppressive regimes and theologists, right, people who are religious and make their entire government about religion, it's not religious people, right, because that's a generalization, but religious people are doing it. Again, it's like not all religious people. Here, we'll hit him with it. I have a story over here. Nope. There we go. He wants to do that. Just let him know, hey, I have a story over here. So I don't care. I wouldn't normally ping like that, but goddamn, he was pinging while our team was running with him. But yeah, the beauty of art and the reason these games get censored is because it actually criticizes the people who have the power of censorship. Who would have thought? Who would have thought people with power having their power taken from them don't like the power being taken from them? Oh, isn't that why America has checks and balances, you fucking morons? Isn't that why we believe in the separation of church and state? I love being able to say these things. You could point out something wrong, entirely hypocritical with every religion, right? I love being able to say that in America. And the oppressive regimes that end up getting their own civilians hurt because they do not want to concede their stupid religion is not just not right, but not peaceful. It's like no one is... Here you go, buddy. I got one too. You want to keep pinging? I am fighting a quest boss. Nope. Nope. When I get the ping, it'll make sense, hopefully. Actually, I'm gonna hit this up to restock my healing because the boss's health doesn't reset. They've died more times than I did, and they're together. Fucking people. I hope they get the objective achieved. Now I'm going to you. Now I'm going this way, actually. That guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's fighting a knight that no one wants to fight. Nope. No. Not fighting that. Actually, I think I have a item to pick up over here, because they killed the boss. And one of our teammates disconnected. Yep. Unable to restore session. Unable to restore session. Let's just see how many times we can attempt recovery before it just straight up kicks us. So one guy rage quit, I think. The guy who kept pinging rage quit. And then the guy who was running through the mountain seemed like he just disconnected from bad internet. That sucks for him. I'm pretty sure if I click cancel, I get a penalty. So let's just keep going with the attempting to reconnect the session. Returning to title menu. No. Maybe we got the quest done. Maybe. Nope. Oh my god, that guy's a fucking moron. I'm pretty sure his rage quit is the reason we all disconnected. Because he was fighting something, I was pinging something else, like, you are fighting a boss for no reason. Why the fuck would you go? Alright, just a good rule of thumb. If there is a high-level boss whose whole thing is defense, their whole style is defense, like the Bell-Bearing Hunter or the Carrion Knight, don't fucking attack them until you're high enough level to. These people are stupid as shit. As dumb as fucking rocks. Mask off. I don't give a shit. How are you going to keep pinging to a guy that you literally can't fucking fight solo? When somebody pings something that tells you, right, the thing that I pinged tells them I have a quest here. It's like, I'm fighting a really low-level mob that's a quest, so it's important and the reason I even queued up. But he said, fuck you, I'm gonna go fight something that we can't fight yet. And then he kept dying. It's like, come on, bro. What the fuck is wrong with people? Oh, God. Feels like I'm talking to Hasanabi. Like a wall. It's like it won't admit that they're wrong, so rather run into an enemy that's constantly defeating them. Allegorical, I'm sure. Like, I hate the imperial industrial complex of America as well, but to say that any military could stand against the United States that doesn't have one of the largest military powers is fucking insane. So Hassan's whole point of fight until you die, Palestinian people, is fucking stupid, because he's telling them fight a losing war. That's essentially what he's saying. Fight a losing battle until you lose, because your religion is forcing you to do that. And I can't admit I'm wrong. So it's like, I hate those kinds of people. You aren't there. You are telling others to do the action. You are a fucking talentless hack. Fuck you. Okay? That's my opinion. As someone who can 3D model, can illustrate, can program, can game design, has had people of my fans ask me to make games and I refuse to because I don't think I'm even talented enough to make what they ask. Have some humble fucking opinion about yourself and think, maybe I can't do that. Maybe I can't solve the world's fucking problems because I don't know. That should be his take. One time. But it doesn't seem to ever come up. That he's wrong. Especially when he actually is fucking wrong. Again, logic gates. Logic doesn't care about your feelings. It sucks, it's sad, and it hurts my heart to even admit these things out loud, too. I think the people shouldn't fight, and if they are going to fight, they should turn their guns towards the oppressive government that forces them to fight a losing war. That's a hot take that Americans should vocalize. Remember the Boston Tea Party? Do you know why we did that? Do you know what the Boston Tea Party is in America? If you are a foreigner, I respect that you don't know because I don't expect you to know American history, but look it up. And then wonder why I have the opinions I do. I was brought up being taught that, oh, our entire nation was founded on a rebellion against oppressive fucking lunatics. It's like, okay, what did you expect us to feel? Getting my stamina back. And again, it goes back to just wanting to feel right because it's an emotional investment. What they're saying isn't correct at all. I just pointed out a million logical reasons, but it's sad. And they'll probably say something like, you don't stand with the people of Gaza, right? It's like, no, I do. You literally do not hear what the fuck I am saying. I think the people of Gaza are being oppressed by their government as well as Israeli government, right? And if you support Hamas, well, Hamas supports Israel and doesn't want to fight against them for the reasons I just fucking said. So you agree with me, even if you think you don't, right? So it's like, these people don't use logic, so I don't give a fuck about their dipshit opinions. Because as soon as you point something like that out to them, they're gonna have a fucking existential crisis of, no, but, well, actually, maybe this. It's like, yeah, no. Emotional responses to logical conclusions, sorry. Again, I say fuck you. You're playing with people's lives, and if I get hate for saying that people should be able to live in peace and not have to stress about their government, right? As someone who stresses about my own government, to get rid of your stupid whataboutism of, well, America's not that good. Yeah, I know, but we have the freedom of being able to fucking criticize that it's not that good here. So what the fuck is your criticism exactly? It's a hollow criticism that's just a whataboutism. Who feel good about yourself, you fucking moron. So, took a couple days off to go express myself with some artwork. Got really good, got deep into it, made some things, programmed. Couldn't shake this feeling that I needed to voice an opinion on this. It's a subtle racism, in my opinion. It's not even subtle. You think of Mike from PA, who conflates Judaism. Again, I'm not religious. I think religion's fucking dumb. But conflating Judaism with Zionism is part of the problem and criticism of your movement. It's not that you don't do it. You don't do your fucking cause an actual justice by voicing it like that and being a fucking moron. You're a moron. You're saying the quiet part out loud, and we're gonna criticize you. Like, finally, some dipshit said the thing. He just doesn't like Jewish people, right? As someone with many Jewish friends, and it's like it doesn't even come up while we're hanging out and fucking like going to shows together, hanging out, smoking, right? Whatever. It's like when we're actually hanging out in the real world, you fucking loser online. None of that shit actually matters. So it's like they just think, oh, they're Jewish, so clearly they support these things, which is my criticism of Hassan with Ethan, right? Ethan said he believes Israel is committing genocide, so instead of saying Ethan's right, he's saying no. Ethan's Jewish and lying and hallucinating anti-Semitism. It's like 5 layers deep of, no. They have to be lying, otherwise I'm wrong. It's like, okay. Maybe you're just wrong, you fucking idiot. Maybe. Maybe you're just wrong. Can you admit that? What the fuck? God damn. And then people who are their friends, I don't even blame you for siding with your friend. Okay? I think, of course, but you can't claim it's not complicity. You can't claim it's not looking the other way. It's fucking right here in front of you. Well, the Mike from PA thing and the response to it. So it's like, no. At this point, you can turn a blind eye, but you're complicit, and I don't give a fuck. And then you could say, I don't know. That's ignorance, right? How do you not know that's their current platform? You say you support these people, but you don't know? It's like, you can't, what the fuck? You're an idiot. You're just dumb as shit. I support something, but I have no fucking clue what it is. You're an idiot and an asshole to the people who are oppressed by those people that you're siding with. So fuck you. Okay? As an American, you're a fucking moron. Period. Full stop. There's no whataboutisms. There's no maybes. There's no kind of. Go back and listen to the last 50 minutes if you have any of those thoughts. Go on. And then I've already refuted anything that you've said because it's just a fucking fact. It's very unfortunate that these people I once looked up to talk themselves into a fucking corner like this, but the theme of this game is calling people like that out who refuse to acknowledge their own mistakes, so. Fuck them. If they refuse to learn from them. That's my advice. Use them as an example. Not violently, like the dipshit Mike from PA said, right? You don't have to incite violence. That's actually my whole criticism, is that you can voice all these opinions through beautiful things like art without having to be as mean as I am right now. But I guess they don't listen to art. They think there's Elden Ring fatigue, right? To people like Charlie. Actually, I love these games. It's the dipshits who refuse to talk about the stories I'm fucking sick of. People who are bad at the game and refuse to admit that they're bad at the game. It's part of the problem with society these days. And I don't care if I sound like an old asshole. It's true. It's not even young people, right? Again, with the whole generalizations. I know a lot of young people who criticize me and are right, and I'm like, oh, actually, you know what? I didn't even think of it like that through that perspective. That's a good point. But the people I'm criticizing have never said that. They've never said, oh, you're right for criticizing me in the way that you are. It's like, that's all it takes. And they haven't done it. And they're playing with people's lives, which is the most important thing that I should keep reiterating. He's not in Gaza, right? He's not doing anything for the war effort. Donating money? Good, you rich Nepo baby. Donate all of your fucking money. Who cares? Donate as much money as you want. I don't care how much money you donate. It's good that you're donating, but using that as an excuse is a bad thing. And then forcing people to have to use it as an excuse is even worse. It's like, oh yeah? Well, how much did you donate? Like, why does that even matter? Why are you making it about money? We're talking about people fucking dying for people wanting money. You're not realizing you're part of the problem, which is a running theme. It's like, Jesus, these guys are fucking moronic to a new degree. But I guess, again, my job is logic gates, right? Coding, that's what it's called, logic gates. If and or this, right? If for each. These are all logic statements that you use in programming. And I'm not surprised the dipshit pirate software doesn't know how to program, because he wasn't using these statements in his code. So it's like, even the people they side with who they think are smart are the dumbest amongst us. And I'm like, I barely know anything compared to the developers of Elden Ring. But even the developers of Elden Ring agree with me, because that's the fucking theme of the game. So it's like, you can bitch and moan about the theme hurting your fucking feelings, but again, that's a feeling, that's an emotional argument, that is subjective, that is not objective. They're just wrong. No matter which way you cut it, they're wrong. And it's unfortunate. Again, it's not to say religious people are bad, because that's not true. And it's not even to say political people are bad. I believe art over politics every day, but I'm sure there are people who were brought up in politics that genuinely believe and can make a difference through it. Is everyone, though? Fuck no. Fuck no, they're not. And that's obvious. That's just... If they were, we wouldn't be in this mess talking about this right now as passionately as we are, with people dying. That's just a fact. That's just how that works. So my days off were actually good for me, and for my mental health, because I got to really take time to consider these things and analyze and even talk to other people who would disagree with me, and I've been corrected, right? I talked to my friends who happen to be black. I talked to my friends who happen to be Jewish, right? And all of these family members who I do not agree with, but blame everything on the fucking Jewish population, these lunatics. I have family that are just like the crazy people like Hassan, but in Christian regard. They're like, oh, Jewish people are bad because they're Jewish, and I believe in Christianity. It's a team thing. It's like, you haven't even read the book you're talking about. I know because I'm fucking related to you, and I'm constantly arguing with you related to that book. Not even just people. Just like, they don't even know what they're preaching and the contradictions of their religion. They just use it as an excuse to hate. Same with politics, right? And people like Hassan's chat. It's sad, right? And it's an emotional thing that you really aren't to blame for having an emotional response to. Yes, seeing people getting starved to death is the worst part of humanity, but supporting the aid being dropped in is only good, right? Because it's a temporary relief, right? Like doctors, you're treating the symptoms, not the underlying cause of the symptoms, the disease itself. Feeding the starving people doesn't get rid of the people starving them. Who are the people starving them? The politicians on both sides. And that's one thing Hassan refuses to acknowledge, which makes it very sad, right? And again, I live in America. I can say these things. Someone lives in those nations and says this, it's going against their government, but the theology, and that is a punishable crime by death, which is fucking insane here in America. But again, with the criticism, it's not that it isn't something that even people are trying to have happen here, right? They're trying to persecute and prosecute people based on their religious views, right? But we as a society in America say, no, fuck that, that's stupid. The populace is on one side and the people in power on the other, and we're constantly arguing. So pretty obvious when you state it like that. But the thing is, they're always going to disingenuously take an argument like that and say, oh, you clearly don't like these people. I'm like, actively saying generalizing is bad and that I care for all people who are just citizens oppressed by their government, and the oppressors that work for the government are the assholes. Doesn't matter which side they're on. If they're doing bad, which is like their criticism, but they want to be exempt from it. They're like, rules for thee and not for me, right? What you're doing is bad. Genocide is bad, so we're going to kill you all. And there should be no more state like you. Right? It's like, that's genocide, you fucking moron. What are you talking about? It's like, no, but it's cool because we don't like the people we're killing. Like, that's even fucking crazier to say. That's why it's like, when you actually break down their arguments into what... It's like, okay, now have a nuanced conversation. I've explained what your argument seems like to me. Why does it seem like that? Because is it every time anyone tries to criticize you, groupthink takes over, and no one can be wrong in your faction of the Golden Order, right? Get back to the Elden Ring comparison. No one can be wrong that knows me. Otherwise, I'm wrong, because they're just shouting the same fucking dumb echo chamber bullshit that I'm spouting. And I actually don't want to think critically of it because it makes me sad. That's my criticism of all these people. And they wouldn't be in court right now defending their lies if they didn't feel this way, right? And or hiding from a subpoena because it is discovery, which would have outed all of their private messages, and it would have shown how hateful they are, right? Which is funny because it doesn't matter in terms of discovery, because there are multiple lawsuits that you were named in and someone already gave it up, right? So the DMs between you and them are getting leaked. It's already coming to court. You're fucked. It's part of the discovery. So that's why I have been asking lawyers and people who genuinely know more than me, because I don't fucking know, and I'm not going to pretend to know. I'd rather just find someone who does know, even if I don't agree with their worldview, so they can educate me on the thing that they specialize in. right? Specializations, like I was mentioning with game design, who would have thought being useful in a world, dedicating your entire life to studying something and then being really, really good at that? Could you imagine? Like game design or art? And you know what? I still believe that they could learn, and they could just pick up a talent. They could just pick up something that they were passionate about and express themselves through that, and not just talking. Because you can speak through your actions in the artwork, so talking is a fucking useless job. I'll say it. You can speak through your words. In fact, the whole Ensha analysis of the story is you should speak through your words. Actions speak louder than words. Who's to blame? You can find. What's funny, I should also state, is that I've been sharing these in the Hasanabi Discord, right, for Hassan's viewership. And no one has come out to voice a criticism yet. I've gotten a lot of likes on my streams, in every time I do that, and I even unlisted them, so the only place that people could find it was Hassan's stream, and it still got views, so I know Hassan's viewers are watching because I'm a scientist and I know what fucking kind of experiment to conduct. There's only one place you could find the link, and it's unlisted. So the only place that can increase the viewership is Hassan's viewers. So I have Hassan's viewers watching, and yet no criticisms. Why? Because they can't fucking argue with what I'm saying. I don't care if they want to argue, because all they're going to do is either criticize a point that I'm making, and I'm going to now adopt that new criticism if it's right and correct myself, right? Because that's the whole point. Or they realize the thing I'm criticizing Hassan is true with, because they're a true fan of Hassan. So they listen to that, think about their time in the chat, and then they go, oh, it is only emotes, like spamming bot type chat. That sucks. That is a thing that happens. You can't unsee it when it's pointed out to you. That's the problem with the truth. And it's so powerful, and why people don't want you to think on your own. Because when you can realize things on your own, you could do what I'm doing right now and just point out all of the bullshit with it. It's unfortunate, really. It feels like it's part of why I'm always upset, but ignoring it would make me even more upset. That's what I learned in these days off with these people wondering, and they even brought up an example of something I was talking about. They're like, how are you going to compare Mamdani and say he's good while saying I'm Hassan bad? Not just the fact that you support a terrorist group labeled by the United States government, and Mamdani is in the United States government, so if he did that, he'd be sought for treason because that is a treasonous act. Not just the basis of your argument is against what he's saying, and him using you for clout isn't co-signing you. Oh fuck, I really need to go here though. It is literally the argument, but my friend is right, so I am right by proxy with everything that I say. It's essentially their argument, which is fucking deranged. How are you gonna criticize me? My friend is a nice guy. It's like, what are you talking about? You're a fucking asshole. It has nothing to do with your friend. I like your friend, and I'm not gonna guilt by association them. You're a fucking idiot. And then when they become complicit, being confronted with your lies, and then show that they are part of your, you know, ideals, and they share that fucked up worldview, well, then I criticize them. Because them not saying anything is co-signing it when they go hang out with you in public. So there's a difference there. I don't criticize them merely for being with you, right? Nuanced conversations. I would criticize them for having the shit you say brought to their attention and then they fucking ignore it because they want viewership or they want to avoid the criticism of your fans. Well, now there's criticism on both sides because I'm voicing my opinion. So, yeah, light the fire under their feet kind of thing. Cool. You don't have to support terrorist groups that literally attack things, right? Because that's not what the argument's about. Now it's about complicity and complacency and thinking I'm right so I don't have to think about it. It's like, well, I feel right thinking about it. It's emotional ties. So that means I am right. It's like you are one layer too far removed, right? You're too comfortable. I can just say that I feel bad for the people starving, so I'm a good person. It's like, no, you're not actually trying to solve them starving, right? Because then you would address, why do we even need to send aid in the first place? But they're not doing that, right? They're not addressing that. They're talking about whether we should fucking send aid, which that is deranged, right? That's a weird conversation. You should want to help the starving people, you fucking lunatic. So help them fully, right? Why are they being starved? It's like, because both governments are fucking crazy. That's the truth that they refuse to acknowledge. They're like, one government's worse than the other. Like, worse than the other? No, both governments are bad. How about that? One is an ally of us, but it is still, you know, an ally of the United States. Again, what do we have here? The freedom to criticize things. I could say that's fucking stupid. So, it just keeps going back to that. Of course it's stupid. Wanting anyone to die that doesn't deserve it is fucking stupid. So generalizing an entire race of people is fucking dumb. It's like, geez, what fucking planet did I wake up on where that's a controversial take? Where just because they're Israeli doesn't mean they're a Nazi. Because I've seen Israelis say, what Israel doing is just like the Nazis and we've become just like them, right? That alone should take away your generalization. The mere existence, and then you can say it's an outlier, it's not most people, blah, 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 blah. That's a generalization. You're like, okay, I don't want to have a nuanced conversation about these things. I would rather generalize, is what you're saying when you say, but no, I don't care about the individual. I care about the ideals that they're all spouting. Well, that's generalizing, you fucking moron. You just said you don't care about the individual while you're trying to help individuals not starve, you fucking idiot. So it's like, in every layer, they're wrong, and you can keep analyzing it. As a programmer who's all about logic gates, I'm the last person you want to argue with. My school tried to force me into the debate club, because they're like, you're really good at arguing. So, that was the one thing that academics acknowledged is my strong suit, is logical fucking arguing. So my two options were computer programming or debate politics like Hassan. And I said debate is fucking useless because anyone can just pick up the other side and argue as hard as they want without conceding. If you show them through lived experiences with things like art, well, maybe they'll actually have a fucking change in perspective, right? So my art form is now criticizing people online while playing Elden Ring. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe, by the way. Just admit you're wrong. And I'll admit that I was wrong about you. It's that easy. And then we can all live happily ever after. Something tells me that isn't going to happen anytime soon in a genuine capacity. We gotta find this magical flower now. Normally I wouldn't go solo, but these guys didn't go towards my quest ping. So I let them know that I had a quest and they just ran away. It's not their fault. It doesn't show up on the map. for them. That's another quality of life change that they should do, is that whoever's objective currently is on the map, even if it's multiple people, on accident, it should just accommodate. I guess we can go there. God damn, they skipped a whole boss. And then even his defense of how do you like Mom Donnie but not me is a generalization. We're all the same on this side. I'm like Mom Donnie. No, you're fucking not. I just explained 19 reasons why you're not. If you said the shit you said, like America deserved 9/11, not the people but the government, the government's not going to hire that fucking guy, you moron. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like there's so many layers deep as to why he's wrong, and he's just stating things that are wrong. But I guess if you state it enough time, right, it is true in some people's eyes. So I'm just going to rudely criticize you with blatant truths, right? So that way, not only is it said enough times, it literally is fucking right. So now people who try to argue against it are going to be stuck in the position of, am I going to be right or am I going to be wrong, right? Because that's what you're trying to argue. So of course, it's easy to put you in that position when you are wrong. So when both sides are wrong in a right or wrong argument, the easiest thing to do is take yourself into the outsider third-party perspective, and then you win the argument, right? Just saying, I don't side with either side, I think both are wrong. That's what's happening, so you're just right. And then the more you analyze from that perspective, right, you can acknowledge the things that are good on both sides, you can acknowledge the things that are bad on both sides. You don't have to be a fucking dumbass debate bro, like the people who currently make their entire life debating each other online about politics. You can just play art. You can play beautiful things and enjoy it and analyze them and criticize them and make something better. Make your own better art. Like, I love Elden Ring, but I think the story is too grimdark, right? Isn't that a crazy thing to say about a Dark Souls story? It's like my favorite series. I like Star Wars and hopeful stories. So if I were to ever make a Dark Souls game, it would be in a brighter setting. But not to say that the grim dark setting is bad, or I disagree with it even. It's just I think there is a different way to tell that story. Neither are right, and that's an important thing. Sometimes you're not in a right or wrong argument. Sometimes you're in a nobody's right, and what are we going to do conversation. And I don't think Hassan and those guys are in a conversation like that. Period. Please, if you disagree with me, voice your fucking opinion. I would love to stand corrected, because then it proves my point, right? I'm not just sitting here saying I'm right, like Hassan and all these people. If someone genuinely brings a valid criticism to me that I can't disprove with a logical argument, then I will gladly just concede and be like, oh, damn, I was wrong in that, right? That's kind of what I was talking about with Elden Ring's story. I might not agree with that story writing method, like George R.R. Martin's grimdark and Game of Thrones incest plots originally, but now that I know that the incest plot is a criticism of incest, I'm like, oh, okay. He's making fun of the weirdos who actually believe this shit, which is honestly respectable. Now that I understand their mindset of why they created this artwork, right, which is why interviews are important, or behind the scenes, it contributes to analyzing the story, right? Miyazaki said the whole thing is about criticizing religion and blind following. That's why the characters are fucking blind, the symbols are all eyeballs, and it's a made-up religion that the game is about. So it's like, you can argue with me about the story of Elden Ring. I will gladly argue for days about that. But sadly, I could pull up a quote from the game director who oversaw its creation that disproves any arguing. People don't realize that that is the point of the whole "would you kill baby Hitler" question. It's like, would you kill baby Hitler is more about if you are a murderer or understand the infinite potential of life. Now you can influence things, right? In this hypothetical, you've already taken the time travel machine and you have the option to kill Hitler. So now what are you going to do? Are you going to try and value life or kill Hitler, right? Baby Hitler, right? Before he did anything wrong. That's the point. It's not, it's a hypothetical. You can't actually fucking do it. It's to see what your reasoning and perspective is. So those fucking, it's like the murderous person will say, I would kill Hitler. It's like, oh, well, not just kill Hitler, kill baby Hitler, right? Because you're at that point, you're just killing a baby. You don't value life because you don't think, oh, I can bring them up right. I can change them. You don't understand that people can change. I have changed, right? I went from someone who doesn't know programming at all to teaching people how to program, right? And a more mindset-centric thing, right? Like I was talking about with friends and family. Sometimes my friends enlighten me on a conversation that we've been having. And I'm like, damn, I didn't actually view it from that perspective this whole time. And it wasn't that I was wrong. It just added a little bit that changed my perspective. And I've held those beliefs ever since changing them, which a lot of people refuse. They want to be right since the beginning. They're like, no, I was right the whole time, right? The only reason I end up being right in these stories is because I was like, oh, maybe we're wrong. Maybe we didn't analyze the story in the way that they wanted us to. And now I'm like, oh, look, I found the Silmarillion characters, and I know what the fuck the story is of Elden Ring and Dark Souls, right? So obvious a tie, you can't deny the characters have the same powers and themes. So it's like, yeah. Obviously, I'm analyzing the creation of these games. I fucking love them. Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. I'm not going to be able to use any of these. Might as well get rid of that. Actually, I'll get rid of this. They're looking at me. Post it up. I do appreciate that the last thing said in chat is big brain mode activated, then I went on a fucking rant about the current state of Twitch. Also here, to disarm anyone who thinks, well, I'd like the groupthink mentality of like, this is what people think, so I have to think it too. Bots are a big problem on Twitch. Here, let's get it, right? Let's pull it up. Buying Twitch bots. It's a whole industry. You can view bot. We already pulled this up on stream. That's why it's clicked. You can only buy them in like the portions of like 20s or 50 viewers, right? So if anyone's under 50 viewers, and it's at a time, by the way, they're probably not botting because it's the cheapest fucking thing you could do. And it's a subscription model, which is even fucking grosser. Oh, and you can do Kick or Twitch. How amazing that there are platform variables. So if you are in a chat and no one's actually, and it's only emojis, right? Or there's a lot more emojis, odds are there's a bot situation going on there. Even if the view, or even if the Twitch streamer doesn't know or doesn't like bots, it's incentivized because the person, right? If you're a viewer and you want to support your favorite streamer or whatever, you would, instead of spending $20 on gifted subs when they have no viewers, gift them 50 viewers, Now they're up higher, getting genuine viewers who will spend money. This is the cheapest advertising in the world, and Twitch makes it so because your view count isn't true, right? It's just not true, your view count on Twitch and Kick. I'm sure view botting is a big thing on YouTube, but again, YouTube doesn't even like when I open a second tab to view my stream. It's like, nope, technically you're view botting. So it's like, I already know they'll delete 2 views because I had an extra tab open. They're really strict on view botting because click-through rate is what's, like, your sponsors and shit are actually trying to pay you for. How many people are clicking on the links that you're sharing. If they're all bots, they're not clicking the link. You actually serve no fucking purpose to these sponsors, and you're lying to them. It's false advertisement, and you might be able to get sued for that if you are shown to be a view botter. Not if your stream has views, but that is literally a sponsored segment, right? It's false advertising. You're falsely advertising. You're not false advertising in terms of promising something that you aren't gonna give. You're false advertising in the sense of you're falsely advertising to the sponsors what you can give them. So they can, if they find out about that viewership thing, they can take it out on you. I love this gimmick fight. I have trained. I did not beat it. That laser went straight for me, but whatever. I guess it's more of a false promises and not false advertising. They could be, like, if they say they're, this would be false advertising. If they're like, we're streaming, or we've been streamed on a, like, by a streamer who's got 50,000 views or 24,000 views, right? And then it turns out that like 10,000 or even like 1,000 or a couple of those are botted, then that company is lying. They didn't stream to that many people. So it's like, that's false advertising for them. But the actual problem is, I know that actually there is a legal name for it. What happens when you promise some, I think it's just fraud. That's fraud. H3 soundbite time. I would call that false advertising. But no, actually. Gotta wait until you're big charged. Wait for your sword. Would it have been better to just spam attack, I wonder? Whoa, okay, brother. Alright. Brother. Like with an R. Pillars of salt and pillars of sand are no places to build a kingdom. Fake view botting and you want to pretend like people actually give a fuck and listen when you need support and no one's there. It's because there are bots. They're not real people. Your echo chamber, it's like reinforcing the walls of your echo chamber. Sure, you'll get a better echo, But if you're trying to project your voice beyond the bounds of the wall, you're actually making it harder for yourself. That's an allegory that might go over their fucking heads, but actually it's a pretty good one, if I give myself credit. You can counter the orbs they shoot by attacking. I discovered that on accident. I don't know if it's an intentional thing, but yeah. If they're shooting orbs at you, holy fuck! Nice. Okay, now I'm gonna try to just spam. See what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it is way better to charge your attacks. It's actually insane how much better it is. We didn't even get like one charge attack worth of damage. Picking fights is all about positioning. If you run straight into their fist, you're a fucking idiot and you don't know how to position in a fight. That is a big thing I learned from my brothers who train mixed martial artists in Kempo and Jiu-Jitsu. They actually won one of the biggest international tournaments in the world, the US Open in Long Beach, Orange County. Shout out to them. Their trainer was Trevor Sherman at the time. So I don't know how that holds up, but they actually, the cool thing about their training regimen and all of the different coaches they had was for each specialty, like grappling, knife fighting, all these different things, we went and got like the best trainers we possibly could. It teaches you a thing or two. And it humbles you to get your ass kicked by some of the best fighters in the world, that's for sure. We did it! Mission successful. I worked as a training dummy in their studio, by the way. I'm a white belt, but I trained everybody with them. It's a little bit of a spoiler. I refused to progress when they asked me if I would like to. I didn't know it was an option to stay a level 1. So I was like, fuck it. I'll stay a white belt. That sounds awesome and hilarious. To know as much as you possibly can while remaining a white belt.
Did you find it?
I think that's
Indeed,
on par. Or on theme with my level 1 setting. And now the seal can be undone. Also, just so that there's no dumbass legal repercussions, because these fucking idiots are having emotional responses. These are all opinions. These aren't facts that I'm stating. Because I can't read into their minds, and I may be wrong. Which is a disclaimer that, you know, that's why they're getting sued, actually, is because they can't admit that they're wrong. And they would rather watch a copyrighted video and shit on it than admit, oh, maybe the person who made the video is actually in the right, and I shouldn't be participating in groupthink, right? Alright. We continue the story. We've beaten Birdman, I think.
Is a product of war. However, the origin of
Product of war?
Still frustratingly opaque. Perhaps we shall discover it in the remaining volume.
This is like an exact allegory for what the fuck we're talking about. The big shadow man that is a product of war, his origins is a mystery, and we need to delve into history to solve it, right? If you need to get your answers, you go into history. But if you want to think through a logical conclusion, right, you also are going to have to use history to play into their emotional ties, because, you know, dehumanizing them and saying their history doesn't matter is fucking deranged. And it seems like one side is doing that while another is acknowledging the other's history and saying that it's a bad history. Just saying. Both are bad in their own rights. Both are bad in their own rights. Trump impersonation. But yeah, you see, the thing is, I get to say we live in America and Trump is a pedophile, right? Allegedly. This is a memory of the new flock. While in the study, in wafted the alluring savor of freshly baked bread. The taciturn warrior must have been in a mind to cook. Led by the aroma in the courtyard, the pirate's bellowing laughter rang out. The archer had an arrow aimed at the big man. The guardian had no mind to stop their amusement, for he knew they were merely making merry. The swordsman said not a word, and headed to his easel. They were a flock that was far from whole, imbalanced and uneven. He wondered if the word even truly applied. It was around that time that the unfamiliar merchant arrived. It's almost like these stories in the game are applicable to everything we're talking about in real life, like they're a criticism of real people and real ideals without blaming anyone. Like, artwork is better than just sitting here talking shit about people online. You fucking idiot, Hassan. Anyway, let's go and beat this game. What does Hassan contribute, by the way? Just curious, if you're a fan of his. Does he, like, make illustrations and artwork? Does he 3D model? Does he program anything? Does he actually, like, contribute to anything? Because the conversation can be had with or without certain people, right? If the ideals are just something that they're echoing and they're not putting any thought into it, what is he contributing if it's not just a fucking echo chamber? That's my question to any fan of his. I was a fan. Not anymore, and I hope one day he changes to a point where I can even think about being a fan, but right now, everything I stated, very evident that he's in the wrong if you're looking for such a thing.
Well, I can hardly stand by and do nothing. Allow me to aid you in your quest, even as one who leads a somewhat unusual existence. I'm sure I can be of use.
Is this Patches?
Please, take this to mark the occasion of our acquaintance.
Oh my god. Handcrafted charm that is somehow unsettling.
Worse for wear, but trust me, it remains as potent as ever. It will protect you, my savior. I shall share them out amongst your comrades later. Now please, do take a look at my wares.
And if you say, just to disarm any of the logical conclusions that people might accidentally run into, if you say it is a conversation that he's having, and he is the one thinking it through, there are twofold criticisms. One, that means you don't want to think it through, so you have someone else think it for you. So I could confidently say, oh no, not the big evil dummy merchant. Exactly. I'm looking for the item he just gave me. There we go. A handcrafted charm that is somehow unsettling. A gift from the apparitional merchant. Crafted in an unrehearsed imitative manner, judging by the frayed fabric and numerous loose strings. Yet a charm is a charm, no matter the appearance. I colludes with Larry. Exactly. Big. And then I saw him. Larry. How you doing, Kami? I hope all is well. I'm just sitting here. Let's make it about Elden Ring, shall we? I'm talking about political commentators. Bell-bearing hunter chimes, exactly. Dong. And then the second gong of that bell, in my opinion, is the Carian knight on the horse, like Latenna with her arrows. I have yet to meet a team that knows when to fight that lady. She beats the fuck out of me and my teammates every time. Bro, I'm gonna be a part of the world again tomorrow. Yo, he's getting his computer back, ladies and gentlemen. The real digital world. How has touching grass been for you? Have you gone out and made friends and talked to people, or are your friends online like me and you're a badass because you exist in solitude. To think, what? They give you the option to purchase the sigils now. It's spooky piano chime when they do the Larry bit. Yeah, they do the Larry bit. Yeah. What is it? It's like, it's like a deep voice, and it's like, and I wasn't expecting Larry. And then it like cuts to the bell bearing hunters like, gong. I know what you're talking about. We've sent memes to each other. I know your memes. I appreciate your memes. I watch them. I don't always respond to them because it sends me down a spiral of scrolling. So sometimes I'll forget that I've been sent into the scroll by receiving memes. But it is a good mental break. Whoa. Oh! Oh no!
Oh, my champion. Are you quite all right? My champion.
If telling people to think for themselves outside of religion makes me a bad guy, then I'm the bad guy. And you should believe in yourself and think for yourself outside of religion. Is it something you were just brought up being told, or is it something you truly believe because you've experienced something that teaches you that that's the truth? And even that second one.
Body is in reasonable condition.
Reasonable doubt?
I can tell.
My bad for causing the bell-bearing brain rot. No problem. Oh shit, bro. He ain't feeling too good.
Thank goodness.
Rememberest thou the charm thou art given?
Who the fuck? Oh.
The cause was immaturity. A wish became a curse.
Uh-oh.
There was madness involved.
Okay, I understand what's happening.
In the midst of battle,
Double meanings.
danger would have abounded.
Ah.
Who received a charm to dispose of it. There is nothing more to worry about.
If it had happened in the midst.
Alright, that line is actually the important one. I'm glad it repeated. The double meaning there could be she's admitting secretly she is the one who did the curse, and the reason for it is her secret ending. So, how it all would tie together, even into the Silmarillion, would be she wanted to create life in the heat of battle, or a version of her did. So even if there was no ill intent, the whole story of Elden Ring comes about because of something like this happening. But I didn't really talk to anyone except people online through Discord. I get touching grass means to actually converse with people. The people here are not very social, other than the veterinarians. I see. That's cool that you at least got to talk to vets. Yeah, I do get out, and I go to the shop, is what we call it, if you know, in the Discord, and I bring pizzas every Monday, just for them to have. I drop them off and leave, but it's good to I'm in there for like 2 seconds. I talk to one person, or maybe the security guard I talk to for half a second, and then I go in and hand him the pizzas and walk out, right? However, it is nice to talk to him. I had to take General Brosh to the doc. He got a sarcoma tumor from his microchip. What the fuck? He will be okay. That's good.
If it had happened.
That's insane, actually. I was actually just talking about the 3D printer. I kind of wanted to try for your tag again, but printing the helmet's going to be a pain in the ass, pending his medications. Animals are too good for this world. I feel like an elven creature whenever I talk about dogs and pets. I've had many, like, cats and dogs throughout my life. One that lived to 16 and just, you know, of old age is how they went. And it is always sad. And I think of how humans are like immortal. That meme of like humans are immortal creatures to them, right? They love us so much, and we barely age in the time they know us, unless they know us from a baby and they see us grow into like a teenager, right? Which is what happened with my dog. They got it when I was a baby, and I grew up to 16 with it into high school. Charlie, you might remember. He's that guy in 1500s who over immune response. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it breaks my heart that pets don't live longer than us. But then you could get like then the inverse is true. What happens when you get a pet that's older than you, right? Or that lives to like 100 years, 200 years? I can ignore the dangers of the flock. He's not doing it intentionally, right? I should be able to leave this guy. I guess it's the Birdman's guardian nature, like the Valar. So that's why he has to eliminate the spirit? Is that what's happening?
What are you doing?
Is it Patches?
Why, my savior?
It's Patches.
Why?
The immortal one has gone out, and I know not when he will return. Moment when dude goes off to the military. Yeah. That must have been what my dog felt when I moved away for years. Against my will, I should add. Banks repossessing homes, could you imagine that being a bad thing for a family? Who would have thought? But are we in a story? Now what? Talk to the journal or talk to the people in the Oh, the exit's right here. It really do be like that sometimes. There are moments where I miss my dog. I used to talk about it like as a joke, you might remember, being a dragon tamer. Everyone's pet is a dragon, right? I was trying to get people to stop hating dogs and stop hating cats by doing that. Just pretending that it's a mythical creature both at the same time or the same thing. They're just a pet, right? But it's more than that because I love having a pet. I haven't had a pet in a long time, but my last one, I feel, wrongfully taken from me. My family knows the story. In my waking years, I do not know when the means took him from me, but he has returned and nurtured me in my withered form. I know the loss of my age, but I know not the loss of his love. Yeah, that is funny. Essentially, I was like the caretaker for my dog. I would like brush their teeth and take them outside, and then when they couldn't get back up the steps, I would help them up the steps. This is a memory of the new flock, chosen family. After taking care of the merchant, the guardian heard a voice coming from behind. I suppose thou wert protecting thy flock, said the recluse. Indeed, mistress, I consider our fellow of the round table to be as you say. In response, the recluse nodded her head, unspeaking for a moment. Then, I know the laws of thy people. Thou wilt not suffer those who endanger the flock to remain. Where have I heard that sentiment shared? There was within the merchant's ledger a clue pertaining to the cursed blades. He asked the iron menial to help investigate. So the guardian, the person who sees themselves as the true protector, was in the wrong for killing because killing is bad and they killed an innocent person who didn't mean harm and just did harm on accident? Oh no! Where have we heard that story before? Okay, anyway, let's get back to Elden. Your pet loves and appreciates you, I'm sure. Especially if you're willing to take it to a vet to get fucking microchipped. You made your pet into an android. To be better. I eliminated him.
You didn't have to go and...
You didn't have to. It was to protect the flock.
I see.
I see.
We'll let
Bygones be bygones, shall we? I won't speak any more on the matter.
In any case, it appears as if you have more to say.
Show me the merchant's ledger.
A list of transactions. Ah, here. Tome we're looking for.
Yeah, it was a lot for me when I had to let go of my girl dog go. She was a sweetheart. It broke me when her hips gave out. Yeah, that one was the saddest thing constantly. Like, cause she used to be like super smart dog, golden retriever terrier. It was a mix of two. Pretty sure it was German Shepherd and Golden Retriever. Or Shepherd and a Retriever. It's just a big golden dog. She would jump in the pool after you. She would, like, fetch you things from the fridge. She was so fucking smart. We had, like, a really accessible, easy-to-open fridge, though. It didn't even have a handle, so she would constantly get into it. But...
Conveyed to a demon. Whatever could it mean?
a demon. Conveyed to a demon. I wonder what it means. Find the demon merchant in Limveld. It will help some people through the intro, boss. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I do not want any more pets for the rest of my fucking life. I do not want an emotional tie to anyone if I can help it. I will appreciate people in their fullest without trying to get connected. Sounds sad? The world has made me sad. I know that's crazy to say. You don't have to be like that. If your criticism of me is that I shouldn't do that, then make more friends, people. But I got a lot of friends and support systems, and no more pets. That's just my rule of thumb. I got enough people in my life. I had to remove the microchip. It's Wisconsin policy to auto microchip for any adoption. General Brask, or Brosch, I don't know how to pronounce it actually. He's an anomaly out of 1,500 other cats, 1.5 years old, and already having issues is crazy though. That is very sad. Cats, I mean, again, though, it's like, that is the kind of math and fact that is the whole, every creature is unique and has its own genetic code in mind. You should respect that, even if it's an ant, right? Ant Canada. Even if it's a pet of some sort, right? Because people love their pets. It has a mind and it does appreciate that person as well. And then it goes on. People don't even see humans like that. They want to dehumanize people and say they're dogs. They're rats. They're not even good enough to be dog walkers in society, right? They're fucking crazy generalizations like that. When the truth is, you shouldn't generalize. You might know people that fall under the category of don't deserve to be a dog walker because they're a fucking murderous lunatic that spouts hateful rhetoric bullshit all day, but you can criticize that individual without everyone that sides with them for emotional reasons that don't know they're wrong. It's when they know they're wrong, it's brought to their attention, and they double, triple down, and they don't acknowledge their mistakes. That's the problem. Motherfucker needs to trip on mushrooms and have an ego death. I'll say it. I don't care if that gets me demonetized. You're a lame ass motherfucker, dude. You don't respect life at all. Go be one with the trees, you fucking nerd, Hassan. But me and my boy Kami knows what's up. I mean, this Gato got 3 thumbs for the price of 1 on the front paw. A genetic anomaly. I actually love that, though. That's kind of cool. But yeah, we were talking about these political commentators, and they literally said that thing, by the way, of people aren't able to walk dogs. I won't even explain the sentiment. Motherfucker. I need 10,000 runes. Stat. This will help us. I can't wait until you're bad. The Texan Senate guy who called trans people gargoyles. That's fucking deranged. You see what I mean? That is a dehumanization. Gargoyles are supposed to keep watch and scare people and through their humanoid aspect, right? The reason they are scary to people is the people who it would scare don't understand them. So the allegory is kind of apt. A trans person is kind of like a gargoyle, but in not the way that fucking weirdo meant. It's that they probably meant it to dehumanize and insult them, but ironically the gargoyle application is more of a criticism of how they view people. It's like, I'm so scared of this person, right? I will call them a gargoyle. Gargoyles are made to scare pussies. That's you think a rock is a fucking Batman, so you're a fucking pussy. The senator said that. I support trans rights, by the way. I just think that guy's a fucking idiot. Guy has no love in his heart and is a total troll. Exactly. And my love is the criticism. And I hope that he learns. I hope his daughter becomes trans into a trans man, or his son becomes a trans woman. In the way it should honestly be said is the person just comes out to feel who they naturally feel inside. Who cares? It's a social construct anyway. Which, again, with the whole religious thing, they state that this is emotional logic fallacies one after another, right? I'm going to go into the perspective of this troll senator to show how wrong he is, right? This is the Iron Man argument. I just used it on Hassan. I can use it on this guy. He thinks people can't be trans because it's against his religion. One, he is imposing his religious beliefs on people. We need the separation of church and state. If he's a politician, he is in politics in a world or in a place that literally views his ideals of making politics religious wrong and dumb. So that's already one strike against them. Now let's go even further. His whole religious belief is a feeling, right? It goes off of belief, not a fact, not a scientifically agreed upon, tested experiment, right? It's just my emotions make me religious because I feel this is true. It's not that it is true. I feel this is true, is what religious people say. So, his whole argument, right, is about his emotional well-being. And he's trying to deprive people of these things, saying that their emotional well-being shouldn't be the reason they do things, right? They're like, you can't be trans for the betterment of your emotional health because my emotional health is at stake. It's like, why don't you mind your own fucking business, you dweeb? What the hell is wrong with you? That's kind of the obvious logical fallacy with these people, where as soon as you have it pointed out to you, you're like, oh, these religious people are just trying to dictate what everyone else is doing, and they don't believe what they actually... Yeah, he's a total dipstick. Exactly. That's all religious politicians, though. They try to police people's feelings and don't believe in mental health while also going like, my feelings are hurt. You can't hurt my feelings. It's like, you sound like, to use your term, which I think is sexist, and wouldn't normally use, but you're an idiot, and this is the only logical... this is the only illogical phrasing that you'll accept. You sound like a bitch. You sound like a fucking pussy. You're a coward. You don't stand on business. You're a fucking pussy. That's it, right? And that being said, I love the joke that pussies are stronger than balls, right? The more nerve endings are in the balls, and when you kick a guy in the balls, they're just down and out for the count. So it isn't really a good description, but he's probably a religious right-wing fucking loser who thinks like that, so just use their terminology against them. You're a fucking pussy, okay? Fuck you, you idiot. That's what I have to say. Morality policing when he has the skin of a cat. Your fucking cat is healthier in terms of mindset because of how much they love you, as opposed to this fucking hateful lunatic who's running in government right now and allowed in by his cohorts who vote for him because of groupthink and emotional well-being. They don't believe in mental states, right? Like the Keemstar, just take 3 sips of beer, which he might have gone back on, but that is the sentiment now that people state, right? So it's like that kind of mentality is why people don't take you seriously. If you've ever lost someone to suicide and then you hear someone say, oh, mental illness isn't real, I understand if you want to wring that fucking person's neck. Because you're like, I lost a fucking family member to this shit, and people like you fucking asshole. Your rhetoric is so harmful, and you're so greedy. What you spout for money, you don't realize it hurts real people. They're just a number to you, the money number, and it goes up, which makes you happy. Fuck your emotional well-being, right? All you care about is money. That's what it is. Because they might be doing the political stance because it's just the currently backed, funded super PAC that they're going for. So I will gladly be a hateful motherfucker when it comes to people like that. I am a hypocrite because I'm a human. They don't even want to say that out loud. It's like, just saying that disarms all of their arguments. They're like, you're a hypocrite. What about this, that, and the other thing? Well, I said I'm a hypocrite. And also, all of the other things I said are also true. Now, yeah, everything you were about to say about whataboutism, you already got, it's lost. You're an idiot now. You sound like a fucking moron rehashing something I already admitted to, because you're an emotional response, right? You're just echoing an emotional response. You're the embodiment of an emotional response. Hassan, right? And his fans. Because I understand feeling bad for the people of Gaza, but then saying, I feel so bad for the people of Gaza, all Jewish people in Israel should die and Israel shouldn't be a state anymore. I implore you to look up the history of why these things were formed and who did what, and who sympathized with the Nazis back in the day, because again, they tried to say Israel sympathized with Nazis, and that's why it was created. Then why do you have Israelis saying we became like the Nazis, right? That disproves your argument. They don't want to have a nuanced conversation. They just want to fucking hate one side. Period. Full stop. That is the proof. What about the nuanced conversation is all you have to ask them. Well, fuck your nuanced conversation. I don't like blank people, is what they actually say. So, fuck them. They're hateful pricks. I don't give a shit if you like them or want to suck their fucking dick because they said something that you agree with and they happen to be hot. That's why I don't have my fucking camera on, okay? Because people have come in and told me, oh wow, you're attractive, you should stream with your camera on more in my fucking on stream, right? It is just documented in history because on my streams it has been said. I don't like that mentality. It's like you shouldn't agree with someone just because you want to fuck them, you losers. I know Kami isn't like that because me and him are friends in real life. So I can talk to him about that stuff. Your feelings aren't real. Keyword, your rules for thee, but not for me. You said the exact thing. I love you, brother. Exactly. You weren't here when I said that exact phrase earlier, so you saying that in chat, full circle. I'm not even saying I said that. I'm saying you are smart because you came up with that logically in this conversation. Yes, naturally that is the conclusion. You have a fucking brain, right? These people don't, that I'm criticizing, is what it feels like. I have been in your house. Yeah, you have sat with my family and you know which ones are crazy and which ones aren't. And you've retained my friendship because you know in a nuanced conversation, I stand up against my family and argue with them until I'm red in the face. It's like, you know me, we're friends. These people can't imagine having friends that you argue with and still maintain friendship. I don't even argue with you, but it's like, me and you can have a disagreement and would still be friends. These guys are fair weather friends, because it's like, oh, what, you disagree with me? Well, I don't want to think critically of what you disagree with me, so I have to just write you off as a friend. How morally correct are you? How grandstand on that, Hassan, and all of the people who are scared to speak out because of his fans. It's like, fuck you. I'm not scared. Send your fans. I'll argue with each one and make all of them feel fucking stupid. Because I know they're just groupthink echoing your stupid fucking talking points. Right? I've had tea with your mom. We coolio, yeah. You know my family's cool. You know which ones are cool. Like I said, my mom's awesome. It's just because we're friends. I'm willing to have these conversations with you and not be like, oh shit, Kami's in chat, I have to stop talking about politics. I'm like, he might agree or like someone that I dislike, but I'd rather, if you like them, go and ask him these things and see if they blocked you, which is what happened to me. I went to ask about these things, and then I was banned in the chat, and they said, you're disingenuous, you're conflating two sides. And I was like, I'm asking you why you're doing that, and you're saying I'm doing it, and like you deleted my message, which if you read my message, you would see that I'm not doing that, and I'm asking you about both sides. So I was like, these guys don't even want to have a nuanced conversation, because part of it is admitting they're wrong, and they can't admit they're wrong because it's based in religion, and if they admit they're wrong, then the crazy religious fucking lunatics are going to be like, well, I hope you die, and I want to kill you and your family. Like, fuck them. Fuck their fear-mongering. That's what makes it terrorism, Hassan, you fucking moron. Okay? And the Houthi Luffy. Fun fact about the Luffy thing, the reason I don't watch One Piece, Oda went out on a limb to defend a pedophile. I'm sorry to break all of the hearts of every One Piece follower. After the pedophile was caught with terabytes of child porn on their computer, Oda was like, yeah, but he's a good artist. I like the guy still. I don't like One Piece. So the irony in comparing Houthi Luffy to, it's like, yeah, when you really think about it, you're defending pedophiles. It's crazy to say, but that they believe in child marriage there. And it's like, you're calling these people pedophiles while they're undergoing this oppression? No, the people starving are being starved by their government not conceding they're wrong. The government composed of the fucking pedophiles, which is what our criticism of the United States is. So again, you can't even do the whataboutism of like, well, what about the Epstein thing? And what about that? It's like, yeah, no, everyone's talking about that here in the U.S. And we're all making fun of Donald Trump. And the government is actively fighting against itself, trying to out these people. So it's like, your criticism is invalid because I thought about it, you fucking moron. Again, it keeps going. It's like 9 layers deep with these people. They're going to try to say something to make it disingenuous, and then you're like, actually, you're just a fucking moron, because that's not what we're talking about. And you bringing it up is you being disingenuous, right? You're not genuine at all. You're just trying to continue your fucking war. Yeah, we had a quick moment with the Shadows of the Erd Tree, but it was really nothing. Yeah, religious people have no grounds positioning in reality. The whole Oda shit is such a bad take. His, not yours. Yeah, I know what you mean. But then again, it's like the separation of art from artists. There are wonderful people who animated on the series. He did not animate every frame and key, every scene, or even masterworks the scene, right? Some of the scenes based off of his frames in the comic, in the animation, weren't made by him. It's a whole team of people who aren't pedophiles and would probably disavow him. So that is where you separate artists. If you like the animation, I don't watch it, I don't like it. But if you watch the animation and you say, I like the animation style, I like the stories told in this version, you aren't supporting him directly, because you could still call him out, right? The nuanced conversation these fucking idiots don't want to have. So it's like, yeah, Oda can be wrong, and One Piece could be a good show, and the animation could be wonderful. All of these things can be true. They don't, because of their emotional ties, they're like, well, no. Now that you've said that, Oda's a pedophile, which means I can't like One Piece in any form. It's like, no. Take it from a professional One Piece hater. I understand my friends like the show, but don't even know about that Oda fact. And I'm not trying to always shit on their parade and just bring that up to fuck with them, right? It's like, no. Sometimes it's like they're trying to high horse on the fact that they like One Piece, and I'm like, actually, if you like One Piece, it's a little weird. Right? That's when I would bring it up. But many people in Japan had that problem when that guy... It was like the artist and the art separation. Some people don't know how to separate the artist from the art. They're like, well, I like the art, so I have to not think of the artist. Or I like the art, so I can't criticize the artist. Like, no. You could say the art is fantastic, and I see this weirdo's themes throughout it. Now, again, back to the making your own game. Fuck you, Bell-Bearing Hunter. I didn't even get down. Making your own game. You have a criticism of the original work. You can improve upon it and make it better. They don't do that. They don't have an artistic viewpoint of criticizing things you like to make them better. Because if they like something, they can't criticize it, because criticizing things you like would mean criticizing religion, and if you criticize religion even though you like it, you're a fucking heretic, and you get stoned to death. Japanese culture has some real filth in their approach to stuff. Their perfectionism is a big problem for interacting with other cultures and causes a lot of xenophobia. That's why I love Elden Ring, right? Because this game is made by Japanese developers and is about racism being bad and bigotry being bad and not blindly following, right? It disproves that like anyone who says Japan is like this, it's like, play Elden Ring. It's made by Japanese people and they don't agree with you. I still like anime though. No, exactly. That's what I was saying with like styles of anime being fucking awesome and people really liking, oh, okay, we're taking the tree. You can like people because not everyone is like that. It's a generalization. There are animes that are good that don't have weird fucking fan service, right? They're rare, but they exist. And it's like, I guess not they don't have fan service. They make a parody of it or talk about it. I didn't like Kill la Kill at first because I was like, oh, it's just about girls getting naked and transforming into powerful versions of themselves being naked. and the whole nudist beach arc. And then when it was pointed out to me, the creators made it as a parody of everyone wanting to make naked women in anime. And then you see that, you're like, oh, Kill la Kill is a criticism of the things I didn't like about it. The same with George R. R. Martin and incest. I was like, oh, what the fuck? It's a joke saying we're not all like this, as well as making a wonderful art piece that criticizes the art form that you work in. It's like, again, I like animes like that, where they push the envelope and they're like, yeah, no, this is what we're actually talking about further. Right? They're pushing it further. They're like, I don't want a fucking weirdo anime. But again, so it's like liking anime doesn't make you weird, because there are good animes that criticize these aspects of anime. And those are the animes I like. Again, with video games, I love video games, and my favorites are the ones that disprove the stereotypes. The whole game, like Gamers Don't Touch Grass, the whole game series is about when you finish up, make sure to go touch grass, right? It's like, what do you say to those gamers who are like, make sure to go touch grass, gamers, make sure you stay hydrated, right? Make sure you take care of yourself. It's like, what do you, again, they don't want to have a nuanced conversation because of their emotional response to saying it bad, right? Why is it bad? Well, my religion told me women should cover up, right? I shouldn't see the hair. I shouldn't see any part of them. Because men can't control their sexual urges, women should cover up. That is some religions. I'm not even going to say which ones, but that's essentially what the criticism of the religion is. And people might not view it like that, and they are not even oppressing themselves and proudly wear their religious garb. Again, don't even need to generalize to make the fucking point that religion's bad. It's like, these people don't want to have a conversation. They want to feel correct. And then when you point out where they're wrong, they're like, actually, that's my faith. Fuck you, and you're a terrible person. You're the devil. You're the Antichrist. Everything you pointed out is wrong. Not because it's factually wrong, but it makes me feel wrong, and me feeling wrong can't be right. So you're wrong. That's their whole argument. It can be broken down into that. Don't worry though, God will protect you from me and my truth. Your false gods and false prophets, right? You can paint a generalization like that because that's the logic, right? If only one of the prophets is right, well then the rest of them are false prophets. So you could just say, fuck your false prophets and all you believe in. And if they project onto you like, you're talking about me, why do you think that? Is it because you deep down know that your prophets are wrong? Maybe you should think critically about some things. That's my criticism of you, is that you don't fucking think critically. And you have emotional, violent responses. The Kill la Kill irony is totally lost to gooners. Yeah, we went to Anime Expo and we saw this is actually what touching grass in Anime Expo is what brought the anime to light. Meeting girls and taking pictures with a bunch of like beautiful cosplayers who are like, I'm picking this, I'm wearing absolutely nothing. I'm wearing the nudist beach cosplay for the reasons I just described. They're like, actually, I'm wearing the nudist beach cosplay because the criticism is that they try to dress girls in skimpy outfits. I'm gonna go here. Fuck that. We did no damage to that fucking guy. We could get like 8 monsters before we kill the one. The people outside the city are there to guard it. Do not attack the monster. Don't. This one and this one are lies. Anyway. Yes. Nothing really pushes past the fact they don't teach about World War II in Japan, as well as the crazy loyalty and dead regimes and conservative values. But yeah, dare I say, to criticize my friend Kami here, that is a generalization. And it also is true, which is the craziest thing, is it's not true because it's a generalization, but it is true in the sense that if the nuanced conversation is going on, like we were just having, he's right. There are people who are weirdly loyal and don't want to teach the mistakes of World War II, right? They get rid of all that shit. That happens all the fucking time. people feel bad about their ancestors being wrong. So instead of acknowledging that their ancestors are wrong, they erase it. And then those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. So you erase history feeling bad about it, then you do the same fucking thing because you erased the history that would have warned people about it. It's like continuous Ouroboros. But again, the whole point of this game is don't follow blindly. Don't subscribe to the theology. And it's a Japanese developer. So it's like my favorite things about Japan are the things that criticize the things I hate about Japan, which is what I hope people feel about America. They say the things I hate about America, the things I love about America, criticize, right? Like me, right now, saying all of the things wrong with America as I'm living in it currently, right? We can do that because we have the freedom. Not every place has the freedom to go against their divinely chosen... These guys don't understand that this is... This guy drops a... This guy drops an item. But yeah, they do their conservative values. It goes back to that. Like they like the United States because it's like how people say it is our war relation to them, right? They respect us because we essentially saved them from Nazi Germany because the winners of the war write the history. I say no one's right. Also, it took dropping 2 sons to get the message across. That's what I meant by our war relation to them. I wanted to phrase it nicer, but yes. We dropped the power of the fucking sun on them twice. We warned them weeks in advance. We gave them as much of an ethical warning as you can for such a fucked up, terrible war thing. Which, again, I'm not excusing. I think America should apologize formally for it. Because the innocents that died... It's like a generalization. The innocents that died weren't all Nazis or sympathized with them. Some of them might have been activists against the politicians and shit in their country, in their home country, right? So it is sad and it's fucked up. But again, as an American, people always say like Japan should apologize to Korea. How about America apologizes to both Japan and Korea, right? And the sins of their forefathers were not keen on being shared, the weight of generational guilt and whatnot. Yeah, exactly what I'm talking about with, like, the Nazi scientists who America took in to hide from the war crimes. The Nazis that Israel took in to hide from the war crimes. And the Nazis that Palestine and Iran took in to hide from the war crimes. You see why I think everyone's in the wrong now? They all did the same shit. We all hate Nazis, and they all said, wait, some Nazis are kind of cool. Fuck that. They should be tried for their crimes. And that is the whole fucking point of this conversation. And and people like Hassan are saying, I side with the Palestinian and Iranian Nazis who think Israel shouldn't exist, but not the Israeli Nazis. Those guys are Nazis. Like, why, everybody had Nazis after World War I, you fucking moron. What are you talking about? And it was the establishment of Israel that was related to the Nazis, I should say, because it was, like 100 years before that, non-existent. It was the outcome of the war. But Israel also took in Nazi scientists, just like America, which people like to gloss over. Like how we erase that part of our history, but it's there, right? It's like everyone's criticism is, yeah, but they sided with the Nazis. Motherfucker, everybody that you are sympathizing with sided with the Nazis. You're a fucking Nazi. It's like, what are you talking about? It is that simple. They're like, I don't think these people should exist. And that's what your rhetoric breaks down to. I don't think these people should exist. Motherfucker, you're saying the exact same thing as the people you're criticizing. You're just as bad. No one's in the right. You're a fucking idiot. That's what I want to tell Hassan and them. It's like, god damn. Have some space for nuance in your conversation where you don't generalize an entire people, Hassan. Because what you're saying is more of like, you're a victim of the American propaganda as I was, where I was like, well, America's the bomb. I don't need to worry about that shit. I was wrong. America sucks as well, but it doesn't suck as bad as the rest of the places simply because we can talk about how it sucks. And I will say, the people like Donald Trump removing power from newscasters, right? They don't want them to know the truth. They don't want to share their idea. Really? Really? Nuremberg trials were not broadcast enough. We didn't hold a lot of world governments accountable. We might see something similar after this Trump regime here. We're going old school hate with scientific fact. Damn it, I don't even have the time. My fucking teammate got knocked. The hole in this city was made by the meteorite that cast down the people in the single night. They were banished into a dark realm because in the lands between nothing could die, so it separated the realm because they were trying to become God. They were trying to make their own thing. Is that what happened? I just had a lore realization while bitching and complaining about all these people. Sorry, that sounded derogatory. I will say. I am more going along the rhetoric of these people who are hateful, but that was wrong of me. I don't even want it to be lost because I don't agree with the people who just think like women bad, so they shouldn't be talking about politics, like half of the people I see online right now. Play, I type. Yeah, I agree with you. I'll read your comments too while I play. But you're entirely right. You're entirely right. They weren't broadcast enough, and the hands of the world governments, right? It's like a double fold thing. They are trying. It's like it goes back to the alchemy and state of Elden Ring and the whole story. You don't forgive. You don't forget. You face your demons. Forgiving the Nazis while not addressing their war crimes is forgetting. Right, and then intentionally rewriting history to ignore the terrible atrocities they did, while pointing out atrocities other people do. That is revisionism. That is whataboutism, and that is them forgetting. They are for not forgetting, or they are forgetting, and they are forgiving, which you should not do if you want to become a better person. You need to address the things that are bad and become a better fucking person. They don't want to do that. They don't want to address that they were wrong and bad. They think they were perfect since birth, perfect little angels, the religious chosen people. They're fucking idiots, in my opinion. I feel the only true chosen people are those who realize there are no chosen people. And everyone is born with the capacity of having a fucking brain. It's like, oh, but there are people who are wrong. It's like, I've been wrong a lot of my life, and I've been educated. Just because someone is wrong doesn't mean they can never be right again, which is the whole point of the Nuremberg trials, right? The Nazis needed to face the repercussions of their actions, and governments like Iran, right, the Muslim Islamic nation of Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Christian nations of America, right? Again, you can't blame one religion, but you can point to religions doing it. I'm surprised Germany didn't get payment for their contribution to every world government utilizing their criminal scientists, but the winners write the rules of payment. Their payment was, we're not gonna treat you like you treated all of the Jewish people. That was them getting saved by from the Nuremberg trials, right? That was my criticism like weeks ago. You're siding with one of the governments, not the people. You're siding Hassan, right? Let's just say it. You're siding with the governments that are oppressing people. You're saying you side with the people, and then you're saying these people that are oppressed and starving and dying to a militarized power that none of the fucking world's forces could oppose should continue to fight this unbeatable force because it makes me feel better. That's what he's saying. That's why it's like, okay. And then when you find out that the government he's talking about sympathized with the Nazis, and that is why they have the rhetoric of, oh, I don't want Israel to be recognized as a fucking nation. That's why we can't have peace. It just goes, oh, you're just as bad as the Nazis. It doesn't matter if you realize you're saying Nazi shit. You're saying shit that makes you, in my having a fucking history lesson brain, it makes you a Nazi, right? Don't generalize. And then again, there are nuanced conversations. Wow, you're siding with Israel? No, they're just as bad as the Nazis too. Israeli people are saying that, and you're writing off those Israeli people who aren't writing you off and sympathizing with Gazans. So it's like 9 layers deep of, you're just a fucking moron and wrong, Hassan. You don't know what you're talking about. Go read a fucking book, you dipshit. That isn't just a political commentary book of how to get people to believe your bullshit fucking lies. How about that? How to feel right? Yeah. Those are political commentator books. Political science. I do computer science and computational science, so you can't even argue, oh, what he's doing is science. No, what I'm doing is science, what he's doing is an emotional fucking bullshit argument. And I know because all I can do to get anything working is program working logic. If it doesn't work, my code does not work. Okay? So it's like, and there are ways to acknowledge that. You know how? You say my code is broken, and I need to fix the fucking broken parts of it. So it's like, these people don't understand why they're losing the argument. It's because they're arguing with the world, and they're trying to say it's red when it's blue. They're trying to say it's black when it's gray. They're trying to say it's black and white when it's gray. They're like, my side is right because, you know, I'm Turkish, Muslim, Ottoman Empire. You guys were all Ottoman Empire friends. So just to keep that vein of the Ottoman Empire, right, you know, you guys are right. It doesn't actually matter if they're not right. He will crash out over Asmongold being an actual content creator. Also, Tectone has mentioned, I haven't watched these guys in a long time. I used to play WoW with Asmongold, and I stopped playing WoW with him when he stopped being a WoW content creator. So there is the criticism there of you got too much into politics instead of actually playing a fucking video game. I've been on his stream. My character Travern, T-R-A-V, this guy, you see my name? You see my character's name? Travyrn. If you go watch every Asmongold stream, I appear in his raids as the lead tank multiple times. There's 2 tanks in the raid, me and him, because I'm one of the best geared players on my server. So it's not like a, oh, did you really play with Asmongold? It's like, yeah, many times, and on his stream. And again, I don't, yeah, exactly. Asmongold isn't a pillar of standards either. Exactly. I criticized him and fell off, stopped watching him, and didn't play with him anymore. I'm not playing WoW. I'm not playing with Asmongold. I could be a fucking clout chaser. I'm geared as shit. I have a bunch of really rare items that were removed from the game in WoW. I could be a fucking WoW content creator. They're some of my most well-performing streams. If you go sort my channel, some of my most viewed streams are my fucking WoW streams. 260 views, bro. So it's not like a, oh, you don't get views if you do that. No, I could be a shill like you fucking losers. I choose not to be. It's a conscious choice of, as much as I love WoW, I criticize the game right now. I'm not gonna fucking play it. But again, to read his point, because Kami is right in this. Just to say I'm not siding with them, but using them as an example, because they'll be like, wow, you side with Asmongold and Tectone, you're a right-wing person. No. I, in fact, don't agree with those world takes of theirs, and that's what made me not play games with them anymore. On stream, notably, historically. On their stream and mine. Not his streams. Or not just my streams. I'm on his stream. I come up to the camera because he's asking the raid stuff, and I'm one of the only fucking tanks in existence. So it's like, yeah, of course I'm gonna show up. Everyone wants to play DPS and heals because it's easy, and I play tank because it's hard. So it's easy for me to get a fucking group. I didn't stream at the time, I was just a fan of Asmon. But anyway, also Tectone has mentioned he's not going to go to TwitchCon if they don't do anything about the hate rhetoric being abused on their platform. That is another thing is again with citing people that you might not agree with. People have told me they're not fans of H3, despite me being a fan paid member. The reason is for the goofs and gaffs. I like the jokes. I like the gaming content. I like the personalities and the laughs. When these fucking hateful rhetorics, god damn, these dipshits that spam the hateful rhetorics even though they don't know, like it's a fucking move in a game. They're just pressing the same button over and over again. They're just like, you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi. That's all they're doing. They don't actually think about what they're doing. They'd rather just spout hate. Pick him up. Pick the other one up. God, I'm good. And we got the fucking knockdown on the boss. I'm so good at this game, I could rant about people and play this shit. It's fucking insane. Anyway, let's dodge the fireballs. Okay, never mind. I tried to go through it, but it zigzagged towards me. Their hateful rhetoric pointed out by people who would disagree with Tectone, right? That's my point. Someone who would disagree with the people you mentioned also agree with them in that the hateful rhetoric on Twitch and them not... I just got downtowned. The hateful rhetoric on Twitch, which is just for those who don't really give a fuck to hear the word rhetoric, the same bullshit words, even though they're lies, spouted just to make someone's emotional point seem like a truthful point, right? That's rhetoric. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's just there's a hurtful rhetoric, there's a truthful rhetoric. There can be different rhetoric. People use it negative, like nepotism, but really it's just a word with a definition. So their dumb rhetoric and their hateful rhetoric is the reason people should criticize them, and Twitch should enforce their rules because they are doing something wrong, like spouting hate, right? But on top of that, there is no terms of service. Alright. There is a terms of service, and it's not being enforced on them. It's being enforced on lesser creators that don't cost them money, but if you kick Hassan off the platform, all of the subscribers he has, right, go away with him, and then what happens? All of the subscription money that Twitch gets a portion of, they lose. So they actually don't want to kick Hassan off because it's a financial greedy reason. They might not agree with his hateful rhetoric, but it makes bank, baby, and greed is bullshit. It constantly causes a problem. So it's like, Asmin, Tectone, it doesn't matter who's saying it. If they point out a truth, right, you should probably analyze what they're saying and not them. If it's like, I'm saying a truth, and it's like, yeah, but you're a bad person, is the argument. It's like, okay, do you want me to go get someone that you like to tell you you're a fucking moron? Because that shouldn't matter. If you're worried about getting someone that people like and dislike, right, to make your argument for you, your argument does not stand on its own. You're, I had one bar down. I don't want to blame my teammates. I didn't give up. I knew one of them would stand, so I kept crawling. I got you, baby. And it goes back to the Sam Cedar thing. They're like, I'm going to pull Sam Cedar up to argue with H3. And then to tell him he's imagining anti-Semitism. And then now we know that that was crazy. And telling someone they're imagining anti-Semitism after the current H3 episode that just came out, you're out of your mind. Okay, I was not ready for the focus on me. I'm going to be honest. There we go. Nope, never mind. I thought that was an ultimate move. No, he was trying to use his ult on me. My teammates didn't let me down. I know that they're full 3 bars. They died a bunch. I got my quest objective, though. Mission failed successfully. We won. We did the thing. I got my mission objective. They're fine. Even though my teammates died and we lost the thing. I was trying to help people get through the intro boss. The world said, nope, you're not helping them. Hassan is like the Guardian, parallels in art. He wants to protect what he thinks he's doing is noble, but when the person, right, that he's trying to protect, the person that embodies the Round Table Hold, the new flock is the Round Table Hold, tells him, what the fuck? Why did you kill that guy? You didn't need to kill somebody. It's best if we just don't think about it, right? That's a summary of Hassan's thing. What the fuck are you talking about? Death to these people. You're clearly going off of emotions. The fuck is wrong with you?
Well, well. Have you retrieved the final volume? Ah, I see. I needn't have asked. Very well. Let us see what it says.
I love that we can have these kinds of conversations and insult dumb people, even including myself here. I was wrong in that I believed in humanity so much. I said Israel probably wouldn't march on Gaza, but I was blind. They were literally marching on Gaza as I said that. A couple days later, it was in news articles like, oh, Israel's attacking Gaza again. And I was like, I really meant to say the people of Israel that are here in America probably won't stand for that. And I was right about that. I just worded it wrong entirely, right? And that is wrong. I was just wrong because what I said was wrong. It doesn't matter what I meant by it. I was wrong. And that is something these fucking idiots would never say. Right? They wouldn't say I phrased it incorrectly, but it still makes me wrong because what I said was just incorrect factually. That is something that those words in that order are not in their fucking vocabulary because then they would concede. The whole thing with politics and arguing, right? I was on the debate team. These fucking debate bros like Hassan, they can't concede they're wrong because then all of the debate people can tear apart their arguments. But because they are in the boat of I'm never wrong. If you do what I'm doing, strong Iron Man their argument and still disprove it, they literally can't do anything but an emotional insult. They can't argue against facts, right? Even though the facts hurt their feelings, so they're going to say, you're a mean person for saying this, or you're a bad person because it means you don't support people. I'm saying I do support people. I'm accusing you of not supporting a generalized side in the words you've stated, and I quoted you. Now the only thing left to do, Hassan or his fans, is acknowledge what the fuck you said, and did you mean to kill everybody by it? Because then you're just a murderous fucking lunatic. Or did you mean something else? That you wanted peace, and you don't think people should die, and you agree with me. I won't even say you should concede and that you're wrong, because now you acknowledging that means you're right. And that's the shit we should hold room for, is you acknowledging your mistakes and being welcomed into the side. I think that's what Hassan fears, is like, I was wrong, but now no one likes me. The people I wronged and the people who were right this whole time. That's how right-wingers talk themselves into that stupid fucking corner. Everybody criticizes them for being in. You're doing the same thing, Hassan. You're doing the same thing. Whether you acknowledge it or not is up to you. But that is a golden order of totality, right? A total golden order. That's what they're going for. Golden order, totality. The inner and the outer. The subjugated, the bad people. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Doesn't matter how nice what you're saying makes you feel. What it's perpetuating is innocents dying to a side they stand no chance against. Coming from someone who hates the industrial complex of our military and wishes we went into nuclear disarmament, that's why I hate it. It's because we're fucking crazy powerful, and like we mentioned before, I don't want to have to bomb someone, right? It's a nuclear discussion because Iran wants to build nukes to fight Israel, and Israel wants to defend itself. So it's like, that is what all of it is about, right? This game, talking about having peace and criticizing blindly following, when you blindly follow, you will blindly follow them into killing a bunch of people, then you're going to feel bad about it. What happens when that happens? What happens when the blood is on your hands, right? I've stood here and evoked the necromancer before, but here, all of the people that died wrongfully, it's now your fault because you are perpetuating it, causing more of the people you pretend to care about to die in the way you pretend to care about. You're a piece of fucking garbage if you think like that. You're generalizing, and that's why, logically, it does not hold any fucking water. People are just wrong. And now we begin our final remembrance. Actually, we got another chapter in between. This is the memory of the new flock, the chosen family. The third volume collected laid bare the secrets of the cursed weapon known as the Ictarus. The curse is the product of a sorcery from deep within a distant land, a script put down in blood. The Guardian remembered reading about this particular variety of magic. Knowledge and knowing led to protection. So he believed. Of his knowledge gained under the tutelage of his teacher. The Guardian knew now for certain. He knew now of many stories. The tale of the pack of horses galloping across Windwale Knoll. The great adventures of the pirates of the coastal waters, the fearsome fellowship, the wandering warriors who habit has to preserve scenes with brush and ink. And finally, the tale of the witch of the deep woods, who wielded cursed magics. This is a memory of the new flock. The Guardian was forced to make a decision for the safety of the flock. Eyes closed as he contemplated matters. Someone approached. I do not like to interfere. Across from him stood a girl who seemed more doll than human, the newest feather to find home within the flock. However, I owed the witch a debt. Even with what you now know, it is not too late. And with that she left, leaving behind a scrap of paper. Topical. I don't even need to analyze it because I actually said all of these things a bit ago, right? Every time the table is restored, we break the table. A scrap of paper left by the revenant that reads the study. Third shelf of the rightmost bookcase, a history of the ritual implement known as the Ictarus. Rightmost what? Oh. A passage on the ritual usage of the Ictarus that reads, imbued with the magic of a long-lived witch, once used to quell the storm and save lives, but repurposed as a vicious weapon, now used to pluck the feathers from the sky and take lives. Remember, feathers represent people, so now it kills people. What once was used to protect people now fucking kills them. Right, Hassan? All of the words you wanted to protect people with, now you're calling for the deaths of Israelis, and not the innocents who probably stand against the Israeli government. You're saying if they ever had a sympathy for the Israeli government, they cannot work in society. You're deranged. Coincide those facts in your brain, or let them argue with each other, and then come back to me. God, I love being evil to people like that. They'll think, oh my God, you said something so hateful. I do hate you for spouting hate. I think everyone should be respected individually, and the only people I hate are those who don't respect the individual and generalize. So I will generalize to make you feel what it's like, because it's the only generalization that's okay, is one that's having a nuanced conversation about the generalization. You're just as bad as the other people. It doesn't matter if you don't like them. On both sides. That's it. That's just a fact.
What is...
Are you the maker of the curse that killed my people?
I see thou hast my role in thy plight deduced. Indeed, I am the one who tore thy kind from the sky. This is a crystallization of that accursed magic. I entrust it to thee.
So you give the person you've wronged the power. What do they do with the power? Right? What do they do with the power? She gave me something.
I knew one day it would come to this. Now, do as thou wilt with me.
So you have two choices here, right? You can punish her for her misdeeds or forgive her misdeeds. The right answer is to punish her for her misdeeds the right way through forgiveness. You need a combination. I don't want her to die, but I want her punished. How would you punish someone who gave you the means to destroy them? Okay, I truly want peace, so I destroyed the means of destruction. I don't kill her. I don't forgive her.
What is
I
that?
take that power from them.
I see.
And they stand no chance.
Utmost to make amends. My thanks, good Sir Knight.
Yeah, you make amends. Now Hassan's the witch. And I'm the guardian. Ironic
My thanks.
how quick that twisted. Me just liking the individual human experience and saying everyone is unique is what makes me an asshole to you. Well, then let me protect them from you and remove the power to hurt them. Non-violently. You don't need to die, witch, because you've acknowledged your mistakes. The power to hurt others, it has to go. Remembrance unlocked. Quest complete. We chose the good ending. And we cracked the witch's brooch. This memory is a memory of the new flock. The guardian could not bring himself to harm the recluse. Though she was indeed the one who birthed the curse, which wrenched away the wings of his former flock. All of my family are gone because of you. She was one feather utterly essential to the new flock. The guardian weighed both thoughts in his mind. He knew then what it was that he must protect. And as proof of his knighthood, his very resolution, he would don the helm that the giant of a man had mended for his wear. Taking it in hand, the guardian stepped forth with his renewed purpose. I'll see you in the next one.